Adding and subtracting integers. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Negative 4 plus negative 2 is negative 6. That makes sense. So the rule is when you have two positive numbers and you add them, you get a positive number, and all you do is add. When you have two negative numbers and you add them, you get a negative number, and all you do is add. So most of you know 100 plus 200 equals 300. So what would negative 100 plus negative 200 be? Well, that would be negative 300. Okay, when you have one negative number plus a positive number, that's like having three negatives and two positives. One negative plus one positive is 0. Another negative plus the second positive is 0. So this one is a 0 pair, this one is a 0 pair. What's left over? Negative 1. Alright, 5 plus negative 8. One's positive, one's negative. That's like having 5 positives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 8 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Match up the 0 pairs. 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair. That leaves 3 negatives. That's the answer. Now, let's try to figure out a way to do it without stringing out the positives and the negatives, because we're going to get to some big numbers and you're going to have to know how to do it. So here's negative 6 plus 2. Well, that's 6 negatives and 2 positives. So what do you think the answer is going to be? You think it's going to be negative or positive? The answer is going to be negative. When there's more negatives and you're adding, then the answer is negative. Then, what would be a simple way to get this answer without putting all the negatives down and all the positives down? You could subtract. I know it says add, but the shortcut on this is to go 6 minus 2 is 4, negative 4. See, that still works with 0 pairs. Look, 6 negatives, 2 positives, 0 pair, 0 pair, 4 negatives left over. It's the same thing. So, what about negative 5 plus 3? What do you think the answer is going to be? Well, it's going to be negative 2. There's more negatives than there are positives, so when you make 0 pairs, you're going to have a negative left over. The easy way to get that answer is go 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, so let's try some. Negative 8 plus 7, there's more negatives than there are positives. The answer is negative. 8 minus 7 is 1. Negative 12 plus 2, there's more negatives than there are positives. So the answer is negative. 12 minus 2 is 10. Negative 15 plus 10. There's more negatives than there are positives. So the answer is negative. 15 minus 10 is 5. Okay, here's the next one. 4 plus negative 2. There's more positives than there are negatives. So the answer will be positive. Subtract to get the answer. So the answer is 2. If you string it out with plus and minus signs, you're still going to get 2. You have 4 positive numbers, 2 negative numbers, 0 pair, 0 pair, 2 left over. Negative 3 plus 8. Which one's bigger? Which one has more? The positives or the negatives? The positives have more, so the answer is positive. Then take the larger number, 8 minus 3, and get 5. So that's positive 5. If you need to string it out, you could. You could have 8 positives and 3 negatives, and you'd have 5 positives left over. Okay, let's try some all together. Negative 6 plus 10. Which one has more? The positives or the negatives? So the 10 has more, so the positives, there's going to be a positive answer. 10 minus 6 is 4, so the answer is positive 4. 20 plus negative 7. Which one has more? Are there more positives or more negatives? There's more positives, so the answer is going to be positive. 20 minus 7 is 13. 4 plus negative 9. Which one has more? Are there more positives or more negatives? Well, there's more negatives, so the answer is going to be negative. 9 minus 4 is 5. Now, it's time for you to practice. Turn off the video, do these problems, turn it back on when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, here we go. 4 plus negative 2. There's more positives. The answer is positive. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 plus 12. They're both positive, so you just add them. 8 plus 12 is 20. Been doing that since kindergarten. Number 3, negative 7 plus 10. There's more positives, so the answer is positive. 10 minus 7 is 3. Next one, 12 plus negative 15. There are more negatives, so 15 minus 12, the answer is going to be negative because there's more negatives. 15 minus 12 is 3. Next one, negative 7 plus negative 3. Both negatives, so you just add them, and the answer is negative, negative 10. Now, we're getting pretty good at adding. Subtracting would be really easy if we just had to add, because we already know how to do that. So we're going to make some changes. Every time you see any kind of minus or negative sign in the middle of the problem, here's the middle, in between the two numbers, you're going to make some changes. If you see minus a negative, you're going to change that to plus. That's really 5 plus 4. It's in disguise. So the answer to that is 9. So if it said negative 8 minus negative 3, you're going to change the two minus signs in the middle to a plus sign. Two minus signs in the middle equals one plus sign. So that's really negative 8 plus 3. Now you're going to go, oh, I know how to add integers. There's more negatives, so the answer is going to be negative. 8 minus 3 is 5. So, whenever you see two minus signs in the middle, what do you change to? A plus sign. Negative 2 plus 8. Then you go back to the adding rules and you say, oh, there are more positives. The answer is going to be positive. 8 minus 2 is 6. That's the answer. Okay, what about when there's only one minus sign in the middle? Here's one minus sign in the middle. When there's one minus sign in the middle, we change it to plus a negative. One minus sign is the same as plus a negative number. So now you go back to the adding rules. There's more negatives. Negative 9 has more than 6, so we're going to have a negative answer. 9 minus 6 is 3. What about down here? Does the 1 in front of the 2 make any difference? No, it's outside. We only care about minus signs in the middle. There's one minus sign in the middle. So we're going to change that 1 minus sign to plus a negative. Then we've got negative 2 plus negative 7. They're both the same. So we just add them up, and they're negative, so that's negative 9. Okay, time for more practice. Turn off the video, practice these problems, get your answers. Don't forget, before you even do anything, you have to change. Minus a negative changes to plus, and minus changes to plus a negative. Only the ones in the middle count. Okay, here we go. 4 minus negative 3. That changes to 4. Okay, here we go. 4 minus negative 3 changes. It changes to 4 plus 3. So the answer is 7. 2 minus negative 5 changes to 2 plus 5. So that's also 7. Negative 6 minus negative 2 changes to negative 6 plus 2. Well, there are more negatives than positives, so the answer is negative. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 8 changes to 3 plus negative 8. Remember, 1 minus sign is plus a negative. There's more negatives than positives. The answer is negative. You subtract, you get 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. Negative 4 minus 6 changes to negative 4 plus negative 6. You have negatives on both of them, so negative 4 plus negative 6, you just add them up, that's negative 10. Okay, here's your video homework. Get it all done, bring it to class tomorrow. Have a great evening.